From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. Their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicky Fisher. Our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. And our Batman, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered soon-to-be billionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission, to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them, and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Captain's Log Supplemental.
Once you start racing, you'll start to know that the more information your driver can have, the better. One of the things that we found is that the Sentinel system allows you to be able to not only get your driver the information that they need, but also be able to share the information with the pit and anybody who's got internet availability. You can integrate your AIM data. You can integrate the driver tag, as in who is the driver in the car. You can also integrate in your standings and who is ahead or behind of you into the dash, as well as be able to see flag statuses in case there's a yellow flag or a red flag or a black flag. Hopefully none of those, but they do happen. This was developed by a fellow racer, former guest, James Candelaria, and he is seeing a lot of people using it in the SCCA, WRL, AER, and we are doing demos at our paddocks whenever we are at the track. It could be at a race or it could be at an HBD. If you're interested and want to come in and see how it is, we can give you a demo. And if you find that it's something that would be helpful to your racing, please use our discount code, which will save you 10% on anything that you buy. And it is creatively GHIT, GHIT, for Garage Heroes in Training. So hopefully you will find that the Sentinel system is as useful for your racing as we have found it for ours.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed. You're ready to move up.
Dominating with Dawson.
Ben Dawson. I'm looking for Ben Dawson.
Ben is here.
I got a question. For Ben.
What's your question?
So, let's talk about practicing for pit stops.
Oh, you can practice for them?
Yeah.
It's optional. You don't have to.
Do you think you should practice for a pit stop?
If you want to win races, you should.
Yeah.
How many races have you won without being the fastest car in your class? I'm not asking for a number, but it's more than one.
Yeah, it's more than one for sure.
Yeah.
What
the difference?
What slows people up?
Well, in the pits, there are a number of things that can slow you up. No team I've ever raced or run with has ever been like the masters of the pits. But if we're giving an example of a well-oiled pit machine, I can give a couple of examples of folks to watch. I think some of these people have some of their pit stops available, like on YouTube. I'm talking about two Lemons teams out west. One of them is called Cerveza Racing, Cerveza. They race an old 5 Series BMW.
Hopefully future podcast guests.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Those guys are completely well-drilled team. They always get to the track early enough to get the most optimum paddock spot to get right back into the track reentry. So that's part of it. Part of being good at the pits is trying to get yourself into a good spot to get the work done and get back out on track for good. It's good for track position. But when you watch a team that's done this a million times, another team is Eyesore, EYESORE, all one word. They have a Miata that they've got a turbo and stuff like that. But I've definitely seen videos of their pit stops too. Just standalone videos of here's a pit stop of them doing it. But they just, everybody on the team has a role. They quickly, calmly walk through it. They're talking to each other the whole time they're doing it. And it's a little bit easier to hear each other if you're doing limits pitting, where it's one of those races where they make you go pit at your paddock spot. But either way, if you're able to communicate as you're doing it, that's a big thing. But I think the most time you see people wasting the pits is just not being coordinated. Somebody doesn't have something at the pit wall that they need. There's a million different ways to lose time in the pits, right? Right, Vicky?
Oh yeah,
We've done many of them.
absolutely.
So what's the most important thing for your pit stop? I mean,
Safety.
Yeah, exactly. So time comes distant second.
That's not like, I mean, you're talking to a guy who's raced pretty successfully, raced pretty competitively, and with being the best in the pits is has never been one of our strong suits, and that sort of thing. But we've never been terrible at it. But yeah, like the time in the pits, that's something that you really see the well-drilled, very experienced teams who race a lot. They're the folks that just get that knocked out and get it figured out really fast.
Right. And one of the things that you could do, most teams don't, is actually practice your pit stops. There's nothing that says your car has to be on. There's nothing that says you have to be at a track. There's nothing that says you have to be in the pit stop lane. You can do this in your driveway, in your front yard, wherever. It doesn't matter.
But there's also like little things you can do.
Tips and tricks.
There are some, and I don't know if there's any ones that you've come across, Ben, but we've come across some pretty ingenious ideas of making things just a little bit faster, a little bit easier. Yeah. And are you
gonna tell everybody about them?
No, they're secret.
Yeah. So one of them was that the harnesses sometimes create a problem. So we had friends,
especially when you have to go digging for that crotch strap spot.
Oh my gosh! So what our friends
that can be some of the most rewarding part of endurance racing. The closeness you can achieve during a driver change. I mean, it's like going through TSA sometimes. I mean, who doesn't love being touched? Okay, let's be honest about that. So treasure the times that teammate is digging through your crotch trying to find the crotch strap, massaging all your parts. Just give into it if you're amenable to contact. I'm just saying, if it's taking a little bit of extra time to get that crotch strap, at least enjoy it.
Yeah, yes. We have one driver. I think he hides it on purpose when he gets in the car.
He tucks it way back. There. You made me give him your gooch, man. That's not cool.
I feel it. I'm sitting on it. He's not sitting on it. He pushed it through the hole and it's underneath the seat.
I'm sitting on something. Let me tell you.
That's right. It's a little to the left. Little left. Yeah.
Boys.
Go back to the right again. Anyway.
You see, the boys just went right off in left field. They just took it and ran with it.
Yeah, the other left.
You're welcome, listeners.
So there's little things that you can do to make your pit stop in and out to go a little bit faster. And one of them is friends of ours had used a surgical tubing to tether their harness straps. So when you actually pop them, they kind of fling off.
Yeah.
Like the reverse of the alien monster.
Right. And they go away from the driver. So all you have to do is reach up and grab them and put them back down again.
Yeah. That's a pro racing
spring. Right. They spring and then they go back. So you don't have to worry about losing those straps. And the surgical tubing is like the rubber tubing that, say, for instance, somebody's giving you a needle and they kind of do that little tourniquet on your arm. That's what that's the stuff that they're using. You can buy it ahead of time. Bill had come up with an idea because of our 5-point
or 6-point, either one.
Oh, it's a 6-point, yeah. So what he had done is, because we kept trying to figure out, especially with the new harnesses, on where the inserts go, because sometimes when they're there,
each tab.
Each thing you're clicking in.
So what he did was he used colored electrical tape for each section, so that way we can quickly identify exactly where those pincers go. Because sometimes you try to cram them in the wrong holes, so you're losing time. Another one was that you
label the harness and the opening so that you can connect
cam locks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And before we let Vicky move on, which she clearly was ready to do, I just want to say, when you're acquiring the surgical tubing, messing with it, if you've ever had like a serial killer fantasy, that's something to sort of feed into that, because you got to chop it too. Anyway, so just if you got that kind of mania, that can also help a little bit.
Or if you're into slingshots, it's excellent for slingshots.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. Get me a pebble. Bring me the smoothest pebble. All right, I'm good. I'm good.
So there was another one for your radio sets. You always make sure, number one, that your radio plug-in is attached right near the door.
Yeah.
On there. But we also had seen when they were using double-sided Velcro tape, when they would actually attach the end of your helmet piece, the one that fits in your helmet, onto your helmet on the outside. So it's right there. You don't have to go
That's a really smart one.
for it and searching for it. I saw that when we had gone to go visit Summit, I believe, and it was attached to a helmet, and I was like, oh, that's a great idea, because by the time you get the harnesses on, sometimes you have to go fishing for the plug that goes into your radio system.
I like this. I like the smooth lid look. So it's too uncool for me, but I see people do that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mess up. I'm not gonna mess up the finish on my helmet with that. But that's something smart people would do. That really is a good idea. Having all your radio stuff close by and easily accessible for the person changing you into or putting you into the car and helping you with your driver change is essential, because we've all seen cars where it's like, oh, you're reaching for the cable in the car, trying to bring it up to where you are, trying to find it, So having all that stuff where there's very little travel, very little locating necessary can save you a ton of time.
Yeah.
You know what else saves you time on this? Having the right plug.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes.
You mean like IMSA versus NASCAR or whatever?
Make sure you get that stuff straightened out first.
Not during the race.
Error that we had.
Yeah, not during the race.
I mean, get that squared away before you even get to the track. If you're racing with drivers that are unfamiliar, you say, hey, what kind of connections does your helmet have? In our case with our team, we've got a couple of adapters. We just need to know somebody needs it. We can make that pretty easy switch, but you don't want to find out in the middle of the race like, oh crap, I got to run back to the truck, or you'll end up you'll waste time or you'll give up radio, which is neither thing is ideal. So it's important to just get that squared away. I've got a pet tip.
Sure.
Can I get one? Okay.
It's your segment, man.
So this one piggybacks on the back of the surgical tube notion, which is a very good idea if you have it set up. But if you don't, another thing to think about that I've seen cause delays in the pits, just to be in always, even if you had the surgical tubing or not, be in the habit of loosening your belts. Even maybe as you're pulling up, but get your shoulder straps as loose as you can get them. Just do that. I mean, I won't do it like if I'm just entering pit road and I've got to go all the way down to the last pit stall. I don't consider myself in the safe zone. I'm not going to do it right then. I'm going to loosen my belts at the very last second, and when I feel safe filling my pits. But it's important to remember to do that. You can do it even as you're pulling to a stop, but that helps the next driver getting in.
It does.
It's not much you can do about your lab belts unless it's the kind that are easy to adjust and the adjuster is right by the cam lock. Then you might be able to, like, I think if they're pulled down. Pull them anyway.
But usually they have just these straps where you can just easily with one hand just lift up one, lift up the other.
Right. So at least do your shoulders, because that's going to help the next driver get in. Because even if they're similar size to you, they're going to need some adjustment to get it around their hands and get it tight where they want it. So one thing that can save you a bunch of trouble. It's one of these things where you don't realize you're having trouble until the next driver gets in and you're fighting it. I wish they just loosen the belt. So that's something you're doing for the next driver and for just your aggregate amount of time in the pits.
The other thing you can do is slide the seat back when you get stopped, just to make more room. Just to make more room.
Nah, I gotta.
Don't like that one?
I'm gonna jump on Ben's soapbox one time, and this is not a popular opinion. Nobody
no sliders,
loves this. Yeah, I did not feel safe in a race car with sliders. I would rather drive with my knees in my chest or in less than ideal driving position than be on sliders. I know people do it, and you can do whatever you want. I just feel not quite safe as hard as I drive on a seat with sliders. Did y'all see that guy? There was that yellow WRL car that flipped at, I think, Mid Ohio or somewhere. Anyway, there was a whole big post-mortem of the safety stuff that the owner did. He did it like on HPDRE and the stuff. But one of the things was he had like a really official slider kit, like it was from Recaro or Sparco or one of the really reputable safety equipment companies in motorsport, and it failed. I mean, the guy flipped in a big fast Porsche, so I mean, it can happen. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just anti-slider. I'd rather just have the seat mounted hard to the car if I had a choice. You can do what you want. Sorry about the soapbox moment. Just
No
had to
worries.
say it.
No worries. You know what else you can do? It's when we're getting onto the harnesses. You know how you said loosen the harness for the next person getting in? Yep. If you have no legitimate reason to set your driver order, I would always prefer to go from the most luxurious to the least luxurious.
Yes. Yeah.
And then it's less important because it's much easier to tighten the harnesses than it is to loosen them. So, we've done that a few times.
Yeah, especially lap belts. Lap belts are tough, especially once you got the body in the seat and trying to do the lap belt. The lap belt adjuster gets hung up at the side. I mean, there's a bunch of ways lap belts won't adjust well in the heat of the moment. So it's good to have them sort of generally set. Maybe pick one side you're going to try to pull from. If you're going to adjust, try to say, hey, we're mostly going to pull from this side because we know and also just make sure your most luxurious driver and your strongest, shortest driver, make sure they all fit in the car and fit in the belts. There's plenty of a ride and drive situation where you're like, I'm probably good. But the person who installed the belts may have been the tiniest one. Like, I got plenty of adjustment, but then it may not be enough for the other people. So you just want to make sure the bookends of the sizing of drivers get in the car and it works for them before the heat of the battle.
100%. Yep. Miss Vic, you got any more toys to play with?
Well, the other thing that I did too was, I'm not sure if Bill spun off of mine or whatever, but you have a lot of people that might be in and out of your car. Well, depending if you have a solid team, but sometimes you have people that are guests that come, and to make things that are easily to see as possible, even when it came to where you plug into the radios, that actual piece, I put some reflective tape on it or fluorescent tape so they can easily see at first glance. They don't have to go rooting. They can see, reminder, plug in the radio before you take off.
Right.
True.
That's a good one. We
got one more. What do you got? We got more?
I got just one that I've seen a really well practiced team on. It was back when it was Chump Car. This is like 5-10 years ago, but there was a team running called Simon Says. Now I just moved back to this area and didn't really have anybody to race with, so I went and kind of helped the crew for them a couple times at Chump races, and they were great in the pits, really smart, except for when they wouldn't do the hood pins or something like that, which happens to all of us. But one of the things that those guys did, it's a bunch of smart, like sciencey, engineering kind of guys. So they're the kind of guys that come up with that. The Latin major kind of hotheads like me, we just drive the car. We don't think of the smart stuff. But I observed this and thought it was really cool. So they had this kind of a foam board. They had a table in their pits, and they had this foam that was probably maybe 2-3 inches thick. I think it was 2 pieces of foam laminated together. But what they had done is they had cut out shapes, like a kind of a 5S thing you might see in a manufacturing plant. But they had a shape cut out. They had a shape, a depression cut into it. They could set the torque wrench down in there. They had one for just the wheel ratchet. They had a section of it stripped out to set the air gauge down in. I'm sure they had one for their extra like Coke bottle they had full of oil that they would use if they knew they needed to add X amount of oil to this old Acura motor every pit stop. You know what I mean? They were just prepared for the they had a big crash box to fix big stuff, but they just had one piece of foam with all these reliefs cut in it where everything had to be in there, and it was where they could all easily go reach it from over the pit wall. So I thought that was a really cool thing. I haven't seen a lot of other people do it, but those guys are really smart. The Simon Says team had a really cool Acura Integra. I'm not sure if they're still racing there or not, but they probably are. But that was something that just struck me as something that a really, really smart squared away team would have. Like having tables is another way. Like I think some people don't think about that, but having a table or two in your pit area can make a lot of stuff easier. Storing your radio stuff, having a place to set helmets down, or people will even get more elaborate setups with shelves and stuff like that for the driver gear. I don't think you got to have the rolling NASCAR pit box you see in like some of the Champ Car races and WRL, AER stuff. That's, to me, I'm probably never going to be the guy that's got the big rolling, retired NASCAR equipment at the road course. But I mean, those people like that, they got plenty of room to put on the crap, and they can stay pretty squared away. So I see those guys with the huge tents, the triple wide tents and all the logos and that kind of stuff. I walk by, I'm kind of like, Man, it must be nice, but I don't feel like I'm losing out to them in any way either. But it's
Yeah.
probably nice to have all the amenities. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's tough when your toolbox setup costs more than your car, so it's probably not going to happen for us. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it has always been tough because a lot of us have like little kids, and we all sort of just agree like we're just going to be as squared away as we are. We might get to test this thing, but we also might just show up and do the best we can. It's just it's our getaway to go race. It's not like we're like we got to win this one, Like if we're doing well for a little while, we'll enjoy it, but we're not like we kind of can see like we're not going to be the most well drilled team at this or that or anything because we're pretty much just showing up to enjoy some racing, and none of us really have time for this,
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Vicky, we got one more on our list. You want?
Ooh,
I'm gonna let you go.
Oh, okay. So we have become a fan of the Halo seat because it gives you a little more safety, a little more control, a little more neck support. Life is good. We like that.
Yep.
However, getting in and out of a car with a cage and a Halo seat can be more difficult than with the one that doesn't have the Halo seat. So one of the things, especially for our more luxurious mammals, we are we kind of like having the detachable steering wheel.
Oh yeah, totally, definitely. That's a great idea.
Makes a little more room, got a little more space, a little more cargo can get in there, and eventually get settled in. Makes life a little easier and less contortionist, especially the taller drivers, especially like that, because they've got a whole bunch of leg to get underneath that thing. So.
Yes, I've definitely been helped out by a few more than one detachable steering wheel. We had one in my Miata, and I think my teammate Reed, maybe not, but somebody just got too enthusiastic during a driver change and like popped the wheel off for the other driver and just slung it up on the dash, and that hub hit the dash and cracked it. I was like, hit the windshield and cracked the windshield. I was like, damn it. So that's the only caveat: is don't be slinging that wheel too fast towards your windscreen.
Exactly. Well, the hook is kind of nice if you can fit it between your cage.
Yeah, if you found the long acre catalog and like, hey, you know what? I do need a helmet hook. I do need a drink bottle holder. Hell yeah, get you one of them.
That's right.
I need a steering wheel hook.
That's right. It's fun.
Yeah.
Protects your windshield. And
That's the kind of stuff I never think about getting. Though. I said, that's so smart. Why didn't I just buy that?
Exactly.
I only want to put stuff in the car that makes it go faster. I always forget about the smart people stuff. Like, oh, look, a cool suit. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. That's
probably good. Yeah. So those are what we had on our list. Ben added a few more. Cool. If you guys have any others, we'd love to share. It'd be great to learn.
We'd love to share, but also we'd love to just hear what you're doing and steal it.
Exactly.
This is true.
Hit us up, listener.
Everybody's in training.
Absolutely.
You can pester us on our Instagram. You can give us an email at garageheroesintraining@gmail.com. We'd love to hear. Always good to learn new stuff.
Yeah, you can drive by where I work. That's cool. Yell out the window at the box plant. Great.
Say, hey Ben, I need some boxes.
All right. Guess we did it.
We did. Well, I'm sure we'll find more from other people chiming in. So it'll be interesting. We'll see. We might have part 2. You never know.
Let us hear it. Give us enough for a part 2.
That'd be great. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for having me.